Very good morning to you, Lagos. It is 34 minutes past 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. Yes, another week is upon us. It's the 6th day of October 2025. Yours truly, Ayokunmi. We're here with you once again to walk you through a new week, get you all ready and set to tackle whatever this week has to offer. And I'm pretty sure you are going to kick it. Yes, indeed. Welcome to Business Express, brought to you by Into Switch. It is the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. This morning, we're going to be having an interesting conversation about corporate events in Nigeria. And of course, as we all know, they're part of the hospitality sector and a source of tax revenue for state governments as well. So we're wondering what exactly can we expect this year as we step into the Ember months, as they say. So our guest is a professional master of ceremonies, and he will give us some insight into that as well. Joining me on the show is Jide Benson. Good morning to you, Jide. Great to have you on Business
Good
Express.
morning. Good morning, Ayo. It's good to be here. Nice, bright, and early this Monday morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. What better time to talk about business, and especially the business that definitely pays you as well. Thank you for sharing, coming to share this insight with us today. Now, I'm just looking at this from a broad perspective. What is your anticipation for corporate events in Nigeria in these final months of the year?
It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very busy because of something that has now become part of our events diary, which is Dirty December.
Mm,
In the past, the last quarter of the year has often been busy, but with the advent of Dirty December, it's gone notches higher. I would say a notch higher. So there's been a geometric increase in the number of events that happen in the last quarter of the year and even up to first month of the year. So everybody, many people have come up with one concept or the other
mm.
that is going to require events, that is going to require people gathering to have fun, to celebrate, to mark something or commemorate something. So it's been getting busier than ever.
Busier than ever. And of course, busier means more business means more money as well. You know how it works. But looking at what what you do and what a lot of people tend to do as masters, professional master of ceremony that you actually are, how important is that role in all these events that will come up?
Okay, so I think that beyond the event planner or the event coordinator, I think that the MC is the most important role. I mean, some may argue, but so I go by a tagline or a payoff which says that the MC makes the event
Mm,
because at the event, a lot of things happen from the beginning to the end. The MC has to get there before start time, and oftentimes has to be there till the very end. In between the start of the event and the end of the event, anything can go wrong and things can go better than anticipated. So the role of the MC is multifaceted. He's a conductor. He or she is a conductor. Is a crisis manager. Is a
mm.
humor merchant or a comedian. When, when people are wrongly parked, it's the responsibility of the MC to announce the vehicle that is blocking somebody else. When somebody has lost their phone or forgotten their phone, is the MC. The MC has to acknowledge people appropriately, and that is very, very important. You know how big and heavy we are on issues around recognitions and according people respect.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
the role of the MD is the role of the MC rather is a huge one and requires constant preparation and practice.
Constant preparation and practice. And truly, we can even apply that to every facet of every single thing that we actually do. We never
Absolutely.
are. We never, ever, ever stop learning, really and truly. Now, Judy, you talked about Dirty December. And when we think about Dirty December, automatically we think about Lagos. It comes by default. Now, with that in mind, do you think that Lagos is going to be the epicenter of corporate events in Nigeria, or will other states try to give it a run for its money, you know?
Oh yes, for now Lagos will remain the epicenter. By purpose, by what advantage of location, the quality of minds, the quality of spaces, the quality of venue, the number of venues, Lagos will remain the epicenter for a very long time. Any other state that will be coming close will be at a distant number two. Now, yes,
Huh.
is it possible for other states to give Lagos a run for its money? Oh, definitely, I think so. But for that to happen, there has to be heavy investment in infrastructure, part of which is already happening. Because I know that in other climes, events are not majorly domiciled in one center, and where they
Right.
are, there's access to be able to commute to other parts of the countries. And so for states to be able to give Lagos a run for its money, there has to be investment in venues. That's number one. Lagos has one of the most notable event centers in Nigeria or in Africa. So other states will have to invest in that kind of infrastructure, venue, hospitality, other additional hospitality places like accommodation and the infrastructure. So it's a huge value chain. One connects to the other. Um, that's what I see for now.
Okay, now looking at the fact that you said, of course, Lagos is the epicenter, and any other, state in Nigeria would be, you said, as you said, a distant second. It makes me feel like there's this, this huge gap there. I mean, could you probably put a timeline? Now, let's be hypothetical here, because I like to do hypotheticals a lot. Other states invest, like you mentioned, in different sectors, in venues, and so on and so forth. I mean, would you say that, oh, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, the next 10 years, that distant second could be a close second or even touching first?
Oh, definitely not 6 months. Maybe to be nice and kind, say 3 years at the
Ah,
very minimum. Now, so I'll cite examples. Some states already have this infrastructure in place, but the
okay.
question is, how well do they market them, and what kind of events can these spaces attract? So, for instance, Ondo State has a dome in Akure. In Cross River, they have the Calabar International Convention Center.
Mm,
In Abuja, there are very many venues. Neighboring Abeokuta, you have the Radisson, I think the parking by Radisson, you have the Obasanjo Library and Legacy Resort, and a number of other places. In Oyo State, you have the Jogo Event Center. I think there's the Bado Civic Center as well. So in terms of proximity, I think that Ogun State and Lagos State should be those what competing with Lagos. But then there's the challenge of commutes. So, and I talked about infrastructure. For now, it's only the train that is able to make that happen. And I think
right.
the frequency of the trains is still a concern to a lot of people. In some other countries, you have the train leaving maybe almost every hour or every other hour, such that people can go to those places and come back to Lagos the same day. Or those who live outside of Lagos can come to Lagos and go back to those states the same day. So in terms of the venues that I've mentioned, it requires a deliberate and sustained efforts by the owners of those event centers to constantly market them. And you don't market those kind of venues to the people who are resident in the state. You go outside to go and market it. So it's like destination branding or destination
Mm,
market. You have to go outside of the geography of your state to go and market those venues. Clearly, the price points will be lower than Lagos, but there has to be other attractions.
okay. Interesting insight on that one. Okay, Julie, let me put you on the spot real quick here. I mean, looking at the
Don't.
fact that
Can I
looking at the
beg you not to?
okay, well,
All right, keep going. Go ahead.
let me try to water it down a bit. I mean, looking at the cost of living increase in Nigeria right now, of course, it's touching every single person, well, except maybe those who are the top,
Indeed.
Have professional masters of ceremonies increased their fees for these gigs, or are they still being, considerate and all that?
Well, MCs are very considerate. If I say that as part of my response, we're a noble breed, so we're very considerate. So
Right.
what tends to happen is people who have rate cards, depending on how long you've been in the business, how well you position your brand, how much your expertise is sought after in your whatever niche that you're positioned for. So, but what then tends to happen is people are not people don't stay rooted in with the rate card, so it's not cast in stone. Yes, that's the word. That's the expression. It's not cast in stone. So based on relationships that already exist, or based on relationships that one can build with maybe the event planner or the company or whoever is hiring you, you can move things around a bit. But yes, as with everything that has happened in the past 2 years and slightly over, there's been an adjustment in the prices that a lot of people charge, and MCs are not left out of the equation. But that said, I mean, MCs sometimes are still able to have maybe two events in one day. And so, in consideration of that, instead of charging your exact rate, you can say, okay, since I'm going to do two events in one day, I can yank up something here and I'll make it
Yes.
up on the
It'll
other
balance
side.
itself out. That
Absolutely.
sort of thing. Okay. Very quickly, we'll just rush through these final two questions here. Now,
Okay.
looking at it, first of all, Masters of Ceremonies, are we
Yes.
seeing enough women in that field, or is it still male dominated?
Oh, so that's a fantastic question, actually. It's as if in the women's WhatsApp group, they took a decision that, look, let's all go into this field. I'm going to challenge these guys. Let's give them a run for their talents. The number of women is increasing by the day, and they didn't come to play. They
Mm.
came. It's like it's. I think it's appropriate for me to say that they came into a fist fight with a pump action rifle. The number of women is growing, and they're doing very well. I mean, once upon a time, you would have been concerned about the quality of people who are taking over a profession. And I'm not talking about gender here. But lately, the women that one is seeing, it is very good, and one is very impressed. Before now, I thought that there was no new generation of female MCs, but they are emerging by day, and it's like you go to bed and you wake up and you see a new name. And they're quite heavy on social media, and they are doing well. So yes, and because many times you find events planners or events people who want two masters of ceremonies, and for balance, they would often like to have a male and a female. And sometimes it's difficult to find, but now that's not. Sorry, in the past it used to be difficult to find, but that's not
Mm.
the case anymore. So the women have upped their game and they're doing very well and they're holding it well.
Fantastic. Women MCs sprouting up like weeds. Well, in a good way in this
I don't
instance,
know. I
anyway.
don't know about weeds. I didn't say that. You said
That's why I said in a good way. I needed an
it.
expression. The way they're just coming up left, right, and center, but they are really good at what they do. That is the
Absolutely,
key thing here.
absolutely, absolutely. I wouldn't name names, but I mean, I'm sure that if you do your findings,
Oh, a couple,
there's no scarcity of female MCs anymore. If
a
there's
couple
any
come
if
to
there's
mind.
any if there's any scarcity at all, it will be that they are busy, and being
Right,
busy is an
right.
indication that they're doing well, they're doing right.
Exactly, exactly. All right, Jide, as we wrap up this morning, I mean, what would be your advice to aspiring masters of ceremony out there who would love to do what it is that you do, who have a flair for it? I mean, what would you advise them as they, transition into that field?
Oh, a number of things: listen and learn, acquire knowledge because it would always come in handy. I was at an event just yesterday and I had to acknowledge some people, and they were thrilled at how much history, how much knowledge I had about them. And my co-MC was in awe that he didn't know XYZ about this kind of people. And there are possibly people you may know that the first female deputy governor of Lagos State. I mean, these are somebody that a lot of people didn't know. So because our democracy has not been a constant one, so seeking
Mm,
knowledge is very important. Listening and learning is very important. It's important to learn formal protocol, emphasis on formal protocol and etiquette. Because at events, there's often a need to acknowledge people, recognize people, dignitaries. As I've said, you know how heavy we are in this climb about those kind of things.
oh,
So
yes.
you need to know what is appropriate for who you're recognizing. If it's a royal father, if it's a diplomat, if it's a captain of industry. So listening, learning, seeking knowledge, having a sense of humor, or developing one, dressing appropriately for whatever event that one is going for. So all of this comes to studying and reading. And reading will help you know what to wear, what is appropriate. It will help you know how to acknowledge and recognize people. It would help with a sense of humor. One doesn't have to crack a joke, as it were, but there are
Mm,
always topical issues around that one can leverage on um, for humor, and it all adds to the event. And it's very important to be on time. Lagos can
very
be
key. Very,
interesting,
very
so
key.
you can set out and thinking that you're going to be there in 20 minutes, and 20 minutes become 40 minutes. So those are some nuggets that I can share this Monday morning.
Thank you so very much for sharing all the nuggets of wisdom this morning on this show on Business Express. I've been speaking with my very special guest this morning, Jide Benson. He is a professional master of ceremonies. Jide, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a fruitful week.
And you too. Take it easy. Cheers. All right.
Bye.
It's been Business Express brought to you by Into Switch on a Monday morning. Thank you all so much for keeping it tuned. This is the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. Keep it tuned. More great music coming your way to get you all ready to go on a Monday. And 7:30, you already know, Freshly Pressed will be on the radio.